Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and we continue our review series for Madness at the Darkmoon Faire. Today we're taking a look at Warlock, and again we're reviewing it in both Standard and Wild on a 5-star basis, 5-star being meta-defining, absolutely insane card, and 1-star just being something you could never put in your deck, just garbage. So let's take a look at the cards. First we'll start off with how Warlock is doing in Standard. Right now, not super great. There's a couple like a Heal Zoo lock deck that's popped up, but it's pretty fringe. You have Galakrond Warlock and Quest Warlock, but overall, none of those decks are particularly impactful. But in Wild, you have Darkglare Warlock, incredibly good. You have Q-Block, Reno Lock, you even do Mecha'thun Lock, Even Lock. There are a lot of different Warlock options, and we'll see what these new cards can bring to the table. So let's take a look. First, we have Midrange Maniac. It's a 2-mana 1/5 demon with Taunt, and yeah, that's basically it. It's like similar to like Voidwalker, which is a 1/3, and you get +2 health for 1 more mana. Thing is, you don't get attack. The stat line on this isn't great. You only want to really play this if you're buffing it, and there's a card that kind of synergizes with it in the set. And you have like, you know, Demon Fire and some other Grim Rally, other cards like that, but overall, I think it's just not too impactful. It's a little bit middling. You hit with Scrap Imp, though, it's pretty sick. I don't know if you run this in Zoo. It just feels like it's a little, like, you have to buff it to make it worth it. And you kind of just want to run minions that are just somewhat good on their own. So I'm going to give it a 2. It's just not quite good enough in Standard. And in Wild, I'll give it the same. It's just not really going to fit into those, like, Zoo archetypes, especially not into Disco Lock, not into Darkglare, nothing like that. Next, we have Free Admission. This is a 3-mana spell. Draw 2 minions. If they're both demons, reduce their cost by 2. So it's basically Arcane Intellect tutoring minions. It's reminiscent to Sense Demons in a way. You know, you're drawing 2 minions, but not specific ones in this case. But if you do hit demons, you discount them by 2, which could be incredibly powerful. You can net mana, like -4 mana off of the spell. That's very powerful. I don't know if this is typically, if it's going to be a build-around card. If you're only going to run demons, I don't think you need to. You can just have like a decent amount of demons in your deck. Like, say Darkglare Warlock, you just have Darkglare in there. And if you hit it, well, Darkglare is 0 mana. That's ridiculous. Or whatever other demons you have. You might just run it as a bit of a high roll. I don't know. It seems playable. It's a decent draw engine. There's a bit of mana cheat. And just drawing minions can be pretty impactful depending on how your deck is structured. Especially if like you're a Scrap It deck, right? Like you want to draw more minions and not so much spells or anything like that. So I think this will see play in Standard. I'm going to give it a 3. In Wild, I don't know, like, you could do the Darkglare thing. The thing is with Darkglare is you need to run other minions that aren't demons to really make it pop. Like Kobold Librarian, Penflinger, all that stuff. But you could throw this in there just as that high roll, like I mentioned, to hit Darkglare for cheap. I don't think you're putting this into, like, Arena Lock. You could, but you're usually not, like, need draw for that kind of a deck. I don't really know where it fits into Wild, but I feel like a deck is going to find a home for it. So I'll give it a 3 in Wild as well. It's just a pretty solid card. Next, we have Monterey Musher. It's a 3-mana 3/4 demon, so premium stats, and guess what? We got some upside. It has a battle cry of give a friendly demon +3 attack and lifesteal this turn. It's not permanent, but this card seems incredibly powerful in that Heal Zoo lock deck we've been seeing a little bit lately. So the idea is you curve into that 1/5 taunt prior we went over a little bit, and then you buff it and you give this that attack, and it's really good. But you don't really need that synergy. But anyways, yeah, just hitting any +3 attack on any demon is great. It only hits demons though, not all enemies, so it's got to be a demon on board. And the lifesteal part is really good. It helps you with your Flesh Giant, right? You're going to recover health on your turn. It helps cheat out Flesh Giants. So I could see this definitely seeing play in that Heal Zoo lock, definitely being an asset to that deck. And it seems to be getting a little bit better with the draw card we mentioned. Maybe you're running the 1/5 taunt. I don't know. But I could definitely see it seeing some play. I'll give it a 3 in Standard. In Wild, I don't know where this fits in. You're not playing this in the Pain Warlock. It's too slow. It doesn't accomplish what you're going for. It screws with Sense Demons. It screws with that kind of stuff to get your Darkglare as quickly as possible. I don't see this popping up into like a Discard Warlock or a Zoo Lock. I just don't see it. I'll give it a 2. It's not bad. I just don't see it finding a home in Wild at the moment. Next, we have Ringa Matron. It's a 6-mana 6/4 demon. Death Rattle, summon 2 Flame Imps. And yeah, this is garbage. It's a horribly statted taunt minion that gives you, you know, very fragile Flame Imps, I guess. It's just really bad. You'll take it in Arena and it'll be pretty good. It'll be like that 6/4 that gave you a bunch of 1/1s you auto-pick in Arena, but you're never playing this in Ladder and Standard or Wild, even you can cheat it out with Void Caller. You don't want to cheat this out with Void Caller. It's bad. It's a 1-star in Standard, 1-star in Wild. This is just, not exactly a very good card. Next, we have Cascading Disaster, 4-mana spell. Destroy a random enemy minion, so it's Deadly Shot, but if you corrupt it, you destroy 2, and if you corrupt it again, you destroy 3. So this card really needs to be sitting in your hand for a little bit. You need to corrupt it pretty much twice to make it worth it. I mean, 4-mana 2 times Deadly Shot's pretty good. That's actually pretty good. And then for 3 is really, really good. The issue is, it's got to be in your hand, you got to corrupt it, and Warlock just has really good removals. You have Plague of Flames, you have all these different AoEs, Dark Skies. I just don't think you need Cascading Disaster. Like, it's a decent card, but the setup is slow, it's a horrible top deck, and, you know, it just requires setup, and most of the AoEs that Warlock has doesn't need that, and I feel like they're just better and more consistent. So I'm going to give it a 2 in Standard, and in Wild, it's even less necessary there. We have cards like Defile and Lord Godfrey and all that kind of stuff. I don't see it, not even in Arena Lock, where you have a lot of greedy stuff and you can easily corrupt this. It has to be in your hand, and it's such a bad top deck that I just can't justify it. So I'm going to give it a 2 in Wild as well. Again, it's not too bad. It's just the payoff, it just takes too long to get to it, you know? Speaking of payoffs, we have Ticketus. Ticketus is a 6-mana 8/8 demon. What the hell? It's a legendary. Battlecry, remove the top 5 cards from your deck. Oh, this is terrible. We can just disregard this card. It's bad. Oh, wait. There's more? Corrupt your opponent's deck instead. That's right. If you corrupt this guy, you can remove 5 cards from your opponent's deck. This card is ridiculous. It's premium stats. You corrupt it. You play as a 7-mana 8 or 6-mana 8 on 7 or 8 or... It's crazy, but removing 5 cards from your opponent's deck can be incredibly powerful. It's a giant threat on the board. You can do stuff to like bounce it, raise dead, all this different stuff to mill your opponent. It's just, I cannot believe they're making this card. This is one of these cards that you don't actually think they're gonna make, because it's so toxic. It's so toxic, you just want to destroy your opponent's deck. But we've seen it before. We've seen it with like Rin, Gnome Feratu. It's been a thing in Warlock, but this is like stepped up a bunch, and this card looks so good. This is a must craft golden if you're into golden cards, and I'm gonna give it a 4. I'm gonna give it a 5 in Standard. Screw it. I don't even think it's that amazing. Like, it's a greed card. It doesn't do anything against aggro. You're gonna die and all that stuff, but it's such a badass card. It does such toxic, deplorable crap by destroying your opponent's deck. I'm giving it a 5, even though it's probably a 4. And in Wild, it's even better, because you have Brand, you have Zola, you have all these better ways of milling people. Reno Luck loves this card. The only issue is you don't want to cheat it out with Void Caller, right? So, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see how you make it work, but we're going to make it work, and like, you have like Mill Warlock already with Hellfiend and that. You can just go all Ticketus. It's going to be crazy. I'm going to give it a 5 in Wild too. I don't think it's a 5, but I'm giving it a 5. I don't care. This card's so stupid. And I bet you in like a month from now, if it is as good as a lot of us think it'll be, I'll be making a card as why this card is horrible for the game, delete it, all the shit, and you'll go back to this review and be like, Zeddy, you were gushing over it, what's wrong with you? And that's right, I'm a hypocrite. I get excited about degenerate cards, and then I complain about them later. Anyways, moving on. Next, we have Deck of Chaos, 6-mana legendary spell for Warlock. Swap the cost and attack of all minions in your deck. So this got Luna's Pocket Galaxy vibes all over it. You play like a bunch of low attack, high mana minions and just do some absurd stuff. So there's like Malagos you can cheat out for what, 4 mana? It's a 4 mana 10/12, and then you just burn your opponent out. You can do summoning portal stuff. There's a 0 mana and like cheat out anything in your deck. And you know, you can cheat out Jiraxis and play him for 3 mana. That could be you still die actually. But anyways, it's a really crazy high roll card. It could potentially be game breaking in some ways, but it's 6 mana do nothing in a class that, you know, takes a lot of damage, can struggle to heal at times, especially in Standard. It feels like a high roll card, but I felt the same way about Quest Warlock, and that was viable for a while. I'm not sold on this being as insane as I originally thought when I saw it, but I think it'll see play. I think it'll be a high roll deck. I'm going to give it a 3 in Standard, and in Wild, I don't know, you might be able to make it work a little bit better there because you have more healing options. Maybe you play it in a Highlander deck with Reno. Not quite sure. It seems it's such a build around. It's such a unique card that I can't write it off. I'm going to give it 3 in wild. I could see it seeing play. And this is a card that could legitimately break the game in some way where it's like Luna's Pocket Gal. It's like, oh no, we got to nerf it. But for now, I'll just say it's going to be a playable card and give it 3 across both formats. Next, we have Fire Breather. 4 mana, 4/3 demon. Battlecry, deal 2 damage to all minions except demons, which is effectively Demon Wrath. Prior spell in Warlock, which was 3 mana, and you're getting a 4 mana 4/3 with it. That's really good. Any card like this has basically always seen play. Dustbreaker, Shard Shatter Mystic. You have the 5 mana 5/5 Dragon as well in Warlock. They pretty much all see play. It's a good AoE effect. You get a body with it. It's really strong. You're playing like a Demon Zoolock. It's good. You're playing just a slower mid-range controlish deck. It's really good. I would imagine this will see some play at some point, so I'll give it a 3 in standard. In wild, there's just better AoEs. You don't want to screw with your demon package with Void Color. You don't want to cheat this out. This would be better in wild if it wasn't a demon. That's the ironic part. But yeah, wild, I don't think it slots into anything. Even Demon Wrath doesn't see play. I know you get a body with it, but again, the Void Color stuff, like, it just doesn't work. So I'll give it a 2 there. But a really, really good and interesting card. Next, we have a new 1 mana spell, Wicked Whispers. Discard your lowest cost card, give your minions +1/+1. It's really funny, we keep getting these Warlock cards that are like Mark of the Lotus, but always worse. Maybe Mark of the Lotus was really broken. Anyways, yeah, so you discard the lowest cost card in your hand, and you get +1/+1, like a Mark of the Lotus effect. We've seen this effect with like Grim Rally, where you destroy a minion and give your minions +1/+1, and that's better. You rather destroy a minion than lose card advantage most of the time. Cards are just so valuable a lot of the time. I just don't see this being any good in standard. Even in like the Disco Lock stuff, you can selectively discard your lowest cost card, but there's not that much synergy with that. We saw that, I believe with Shriek and like a Taunt mini before. It never really picked up. I don't see it. I think this card is just really not that great. It's okay. I'll give it a 2. And in wild, where you have discard Warlock, you like discarding cards, I still don't think you play this. I think you don't want to discard your lowest cost cards for the most part. You have way better discard synergies. I don't see it. I'll give it a 2 in wild as well. I don't think it's horrendous. I just think you have better stuff to do overall. And lastly, we have Revenant Rascal. This is a 3 mana 3/3 minion. Battlecry, destroy a mana crystal for both players. When I first saw this, I thought it was complete garbage. Why are you playing a 3 mana 3/3 that's just deramping both of you? And the more I thought about it, the better it seemed to be. The fact that you play it first, you're going to be playing an aggressive token zoo-based deck, and you're going to deramp your opponent first. They're going to have to deal with having less mana first. It slows them down a little bit. And if you're playing Zoo, that might be the little bit of edge you need. You might just throw this in there as a disruption card. Is it interesting? Is it sexy? Is it an exciting card? Not really. It's kind of just degenerate, slam stats and try and disrupt your opponent. I think it could pop up in that deck in standard, so I'll give it a 3, like a Zoolock deck. In wild, there's better stuff to do. I don't think you're putting this into discard Warlock, into Dark Lair Warlock. Like, that deck is so, like, finely tuned about self-damaging. It doesn't fit in there. You do want to deramp, but you rather just Loatheb, you rather just disrupt spells. Does kind of the same stuff. So I'll give it a 2 for wild. Don't see it popping up there. But I hope you enjoyed the Warlock review. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Hopefully you can check out the next review video. It's our last class one on Warrior. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.